Welcome to a new episode of Rich and Raw. Get ready for powerful insights and real strategies to elevate your wealth and impact fast. It's time to get Esther-sized. Let's go.
All right. Hi, everybody. Up here in Northern Michigan. Megan, as usual. Eastern New York. Western New York.
Western New York.
Thank God it stopped snowing finally. Here we are. May. Hail. Rain. Storms. How is everybody? How are you?
April showers bring May flowers. That's what we keep saying.
Exactly.
A lot of rain, but a lot of flowers.
So we're on chapter 12, huh?
Chapter 12, efficient action.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Science of getting rich.
There we go. You must use your thoughts as directed in previous chapters and begin to do what you can do where you are. And you must do all that you can do where you are. You can advance only by being larger than your present place, and no man is larger than his present place who leaves undone any of the work pertaining to that place.
So you got to just kind of own where you're at first.
Yep.
You can't expand if you don't own where you're at, especially if you don't even know where you're at.
And you have to grow yourself bigger than wherever you're at.
Right. So in order for you to get bigger from where you're at, you have to know exactly where you're at. Be okay with that.
The world is advanced only by those who more than fill their present places.
More than fill their present places. Ooh, I love that. It fits with my house, right?
Yeah.
Like, I more than filled this place. It's time for me to release it in order for me to expand. And I think that's a really good point, because what we do is we create something anywhere, and then we think we need to harness it, hang on to it. If you're on a fast growth path, like I perceive we are, you're going to constantly create, let it go, create, let it go. And people will think you're crazy because you don't stay put.
And it's also not allowing your space to dictate your size, right? Like, oh, well, they're not ready for this. I'm going to make myself smaller.
Yes. Yes. I will compromise my aspirations and my desires in order to maintain and hang on to what it is I created. Don't do that. That's what he's saying. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
The world is advanced only by those who more than fill their present places. If no man quite filled his present place, you can see that there must be a going backward in everything, which is what's making yourself smaller, is going backwards.
Yes.
Those who do not quite fill their present places are dead weight upon society, government, commerce, and industry. They must be carried along by others at a great expense. That's the 20-80 rule, right?
Yeah.
20% of the people carry along 80% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
The progress of the world is retarded only by those who do not fill the places they are holding.
I love that word, retarded. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and also I just want to note, like, this book was published back in the 1900s. There's all kinds of connotations into words that were not part of the connotations. That was not part of their awareness or consciousness.
Right.
We put the meaning on it based on our time and our place.
Right. And people get all upset because we're using the word retarded.
Right. The progress of the world is retarded only by those who do not fill the places they are holding. They belong to a former age and a lower stage or plane of life, and their tendency is toward degeneration. Oh. The progress of the world is retarded only by those who do not fill the places they are holding. They belong to a former age and a lower stage or plane of life, and their tendency is toward degeneration. No society could advance if every man was smaller than his place. Social evolution is guided by the law of physical and mental evolution. In the animal world, evolution is caused by excess of life. When an organism has more life than can be expressed in the functions of its own plane, it develops the organs of a higher plane, and a new species is originated.
Okay, so I don't know why, but I was thinking like Old Testament with that. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, in the Old Testament, New Testament, that's, I think, like the number one example. Like, what did Jesus do? He rocked the foundations of everything that everybody was like, this is the way you do this. What the hell are you doing? He's like, I've been talking to you for years, and now you're going to come at me for this? What?
Yeah. Demolition.
Yeah.
He cracked it.
And I also think it's brilliant how he is basically in his assumptions combining evolution with creationism. There's no conflict there. If you're going to create, you have to evolve.
Right.
There never would have been new species had there not been organisms which more than filled their places. The law is exactly the same for you. Getting rich depends upon your applying this principle to your own affairs. Every day is either a successful day or a day of failure, and it is the successful days which get you what you want. If every day is a failure, you can never get rich, while if every day is a success, you cannot fail to get rich. Do you feel like men just feel differently about that than women?
I
And
was
not to overgeneralize, because like I don't want to be go, go, go every day. And I feel like alpha women are in a space
right,
that that's where they're at.
right.
And that's no disrespect, it's just not where I want to be right now.
I would reframe it to they're very linear. So
Yeah.
it's easier in their thought, anyways. I'm not easier in general, but I mean, if you're focused linearly, I can push myself linearly. I am going to get the dishes done, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that stretch of go, go, go isn't hard for me. The problem for women, in my experience, the feminine principle, we're more in the ecology of everything, which isn't necessarily good or right, but it is true. We're the bringers of life. They're the, killers of life, right? We bring forth life biologically speaking. So we have to look and constantly do look at the ecology of everything. Yeah, I can get the dishes done, but you know what that's going to mean? All this other stuff bad's going to happen. And so we're always constantly looking at these different components. So I think what you just said, which is the go, 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 go thing, at some level, we know something really bad is going to happen if I do just that thing. And honestly, it does.
Totally.
Right? Women like ignore their kids for a while. And then 20 years down the road, you look back and go, Jesus, if only I would have, or if I
How
could
did
have.
that mess happen?
Yes. Now, I don't
Mhm.
think men do that either. They're always looking forward. They're not going to look back. And in fact, I feel I've been constantly criticized for doing that. And maybe that is a limitation. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it. I'm just saying I have the capacity to look at the ecology of everything. And so it's not so easy to just step on the ant because I'm thinking about the damn line of workers, 100 of them behind them, going, whoa, now what do we do? You know what I mean? I mean, silly things like that. What's going to happen if I pick all the dandelions? What's going to happen if I don't pick all the dandelions? I mean, it's just like we're obsessed with ecology and we have the capacity to look at the hologram of everything. And I think that is primarily part of why women really look at wealth differently.
It also really explains the preponderance of anxiety and depression, right? Because
Yes.
if you're not growing in your position and you're not tuned in to where you need to grow, how could you not have anxiety and depression? Because you know you're not growing and you're not filling up your space.
Yep. Which is a plug for the Sovereign Way, which Megan and I do every Monday at noon. If anybody wants to join us, there's a group of us. And Megan, you're doing the next level of mastery, which is recognizing. And I think that's part of what this book helps you see. And then I'm doing expanding in a couple weeks, which is really what he's talking about right now.
Yeah, week 2 is Monday, so
Okay.
week 2 of 8 or something.
Yeah.
If there is something that you may be done today and you do not do it, you have failed insofar as that thing is concerned, and the consequences may be more disastrous than you imagine. You cannot foresee the results of even the most trivial act. You do not know the workings of all the forces that have been set moving in your behalf. That's what the Sovereign Way we talk about too, is this idea that if everybody fills their max capacity, everything else will take care of itself.
Yes. And that expanding and letting go is good because it allows someone else. I was thinking about my house, right? It's like, who could really benefit more than I have from this place that will really use it, really utilize it, love the neighbors, cut their grass all the time. I don't cut my grass enough, apparently. Good story, everybody.
Side note.
I know, yeah.
But it's also growing into a place that fits you. And if you no longer fit it, it's not something that's wrong with you. It's actually part of the creation in the world.
Another place fits better. right? It's not that
Right.
it's a bad thing. What if there's a better thing? And the only way that you can expand and to see the better thing is through the faith of being okay, letting go of where you're at.
And the only way to make room for someone coming up under you is to make the space and leave it to them. You cannot foresee the results of even the most trivial act. You do not know the workings of all the forces that have been set moving in your behalf. Much may be depending on your doing some simple act. It may be the very thing which is to open the door of opportunity to greet possibilities. You can never know all the combinations which supreme intelligence is making for you in the world of things and of human affairs. Your neglect or failure to do some small thing may cause a long delay in getting what you want.
Wow.
Do every day all that can be done that day. There is, however, a limitation or qualification of the above that you must take into account. Hallelujah.
Okay, what is that now?
Finally, you are not to overwork nor to rush blindly into your business in the effort to do the greatest possible number of things in the shortest possible time.
There, don't you feel better now?
So much better. There's room to breathe now.
Mm-hmm.
You are not to try to do tomorrow's work today, nor to do a week's work in a day. It is really not the number of things you do, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts. It's about process, not result.
Wow.
It is really not the number of things you do, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts.
Wow. Being present for each thing you're doing and feeling really good about it. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay.
Every act in itself is either a success or a failure. Every act is in itself either efficient or inefficient. Every inefficient act is a failure, and if you spend your life in doing inefficient acts, your whole life will be a failure. The more things you do, the worse for you if all your acts are inefficient ones. On the other hand, every efficient act is a success in itself, and if every act of your life is an efficient one, your whole life must be a success. The cause of failure is doing too many things in an inefficient manner and not doing enough things in an efficient manner.
Wow.
So results matter. Pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And being present with each thing you do matters.
You will see that it is a self-evident proposition that if you do not do any inefficient acts, and if you do a sufficient number of efficient acts, you will become rich. If now it is possible for you to make each act an efficient one, you see again that the getting of riches is reduced to an exact science like mathematics. The matter turns then on the question of whether you can make each separate act a success in itself, and this you can certainly do. You can make each act a success because all power, capital P, is working with you. All capital P power cannot fail. You can make each act a success because all power is working with you, and all power cannot fail. Power is at your service, and to make each act efficient, you have only to put power into it. Every action is either strong or weak, and when everyone is strong, you are acting in a certain way, which will make you rich.
Wow. This is making me think about the power of now and a lot of other books on being
Presence.
present in what you're doing.
Mindful.
All we do have is right now. And I think we have a tendency to just don't worry about it, I'll do it later, instead of no, if it's on my heart and my mind to do this right now, the power is in that now moment, and I should do it.
And the question too is getting it done, not necessarily doing it perfectly, because
Right.
perfection often adds to inefficiency.
Yes. Which we think is the other way around, right? If I wait and do it later, I'll be able to do it better.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Every act can be made strong and efficient by holding your vision while you are doing it and putting the whole power of your faith and purpose into it.
Say it again.
Every act can be made strong and efficient by holding your vision while you are doing it and putting the whole power of your faith and purpose into it.
Okay. Cool.
It is at this point that the people who separate mental power from personal action fail. They use the power of mind in one place and at one time, and they act in another place and at another time. So their acts are not successful in themselves. Too many of them are inefficient. But if all power goes into every act, no matter how commonplace, every act will be a success in itself, and, as is the nature of things, every success opens the way to other successes. Your progress toward what you want and the progress of what you want toward you will become increasingly rapid.
Wow. There's a lot, Megan.
I just keep thinking of you and your current foray, right? You're unloading one house, you've acquired another property,
Yeah.
and everything is like warp
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah. And everything I'm focused on too is to maintain my vision because every step you take, doubts float in. I mean, it's not like I don't have all those thoughts coming up. It's more about just allowing them to pass and keeping my focus on what it is that I want and how would that look and what's it going to look like and how will I make it the vision of what I want. Even if I don't know how to do all of it, doesn't matter. What matters is the vision.
It's like all the clutter around it actually refines your process of your vision. You're refining
Mhm.
your vision every time you're
Mhm.
aware of other things going on and still moving through it.
It's so funny too, because I visualized the vaulted ceiling and I had like multiple people tell me I couldn't do it structurally. And I kept visualizing it anyway. So it's a really good example until I finally came across a person and said, oh, absolutely, you can do that. You just need to do this, and put little clips to whatever, secure the walls and all that. And I was like, I didn't know how to do it, but I kept the vision of what I thought it would look like with the beams going across and the knotty pine in my mind in order to do it. So why would I doubt that I can't do that with the big old farmhouse?
I love that.
Right? Creation, focus. Was that enough for today? How many
There's
people?
a little bit more. Can we get through it?
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead.
Remember that successful action is cumulative in its results. Since the desire for more life is inherent in all things, when a man begins to move toward larger life, more things attach themselves to him, and the influence of his desire is multiplied. Do every day all that you can do that day, and do each act in an efficient manner. In saying that you must hold your vision while you are doing each act, however trivial or commonplace, I do not mean to say that it is necessary at all times to see the vision distinctly to its smallest details. It should be the work of your leisure hours to use your imagination on the details of your vision and to contemplate them until they are firmly fixed upon memory. If you wish speedy results, spend practically all your spare time in this practice. By continuous contemplation, you will get the picture of what you want, even to the smallest details, so firmly fixed upon your mind and so completely transferred to the mind of formless substance that in your working hours you need only to mentally refer to the picture to stimulate your faith and purpose and cause your best efforts to be put forth. Contemplate your picture in your leisure hours until your consciousness is so full of it that you can grasp it instantly. You will become so enthused with its bright promises that the mere thought of it will call forth the strongest energies of your whole being. Let us again repeat our syllabus and, by slightly changing the closing statements, bring it to the point we have now reached. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought and, by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and do with faith and purpose, all that can be done each day, doing each separate thing in an efficient manner. And I do love the emphasis on he. I know a lot of people when they're reading, they'll change it to he or she or they. I
Right?
like he because when I'm in that he mode, I'm very purposeful
Yes.
and very focused.
Yes.
When I'm not in the he mode, it's a different way of being, but it's different.
Yes.
It's not going to get me that type of
Yeah.
outcome.
It's so affirming to recognize that all the things we've learned through reading all these self-help books, um, the Four Agreements, Conversations with God, Power of Now, Untethered Soul, every freaking book we've looked at this is affirming all of it in a simple thing where you're visualizing and you're in full trust and not doubting at all that your thought creates the form through the substance that creates what it is that we want.
Mm.
And if I just stay focused on that, that is the wealth, right? Like owning that you have the capacity to create is you becoming wealthy. Me focusing on, I don't have enough money, I need more money, I don't have enough money, I need more. That's not it.
Mm-mm.
No, it's like the materialized or material forming of the substance needs all we need to focus on. It's all we need to focus on because that is the creation of wealth, is owning and trusting fully that I am expanding through that thought of consistent creation, creation, creation. And you know what? When you said that about the competitive plane, my first thought on the competitive plane is that I'm just focusing on somebody else is going to get it before me, or there's something out there that's going to take it away from me. Instead of, even though that might be true, my focus needs to be on what I want to create, not what I don't have, or what I couldn't have, or what didn't happen. What is it that you want? Which seems to be the hardest thing for us to stay consistent on that, right? I'd rather just stay in the competitive plane and be at the default of whatever happens so that I don't have to put the mental psychic energy into keeping my brain focused on what I want. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks about, oh, I don't know what I want. You know what I mean? Do I always want to know what I want? No, I don't. I think I know what I want, but do I really know what I want?
And you got to build that muscle.
Yes, it's a muscle, exactly. But hearing him say that that is the certain way of doing it feels great to know that, because it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about all the other stuff. I'm just going to focus on, okay, what do I want? And also, I think through all of our mentoring and coaching and stuff, we figure out, I hear myself say to people all the time, oh, wow, isn't it great that you got to experience what you don't want so you know what you do want? Like, that's what Esther Hicks talks about all the time. Like the contrast, the negative, the unfortunate circumstances, they're there to help us clarify, refine, and determine, oh, I don't want that.
They heighten your clarity.
Yes, I have this relationship where I think it's going to go a certain way, right? I connect and feel like this open, vulnerable feeling, and there's a vault that goes down in the other person, and then I'm like, oh, I don't like that feeling. Wow, okay, cool, great. It's not a bad thing. I just figured out what I do want.
Yeah.
Refine the vision, refine the vision. Well, I always feel better after you read to me, Megan.
I love it. Our next chapter is getting into the right business, and this is a good one.
Yeah,
I've got a
getting
fair
into
amount of
the right-
anxiety, right? How do
Yeah.
you know if you're on the right path? What are you doing the right thing? How do you know that?
Yeah. Thanks for that. Good. Okay, I'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for hosting this.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Rich and Raw. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated.